Today, we've got 5 wild cases of people behaving badly, a hit and run, some drug-using dads, and even a grown man throwing rocks through his baby mama's window. Judge Boyd has her hands full. Watch as justice is served.
You come back to an apartment that is not in your name and you're throwing rocks through a window, like Ernest T. from Andy Griffin. Who does that? And somebody says, oh, Stephanie's a great babysitter. She's the Black Mary Poppins, right? The last time I used was a month ago. And even then, it was just meth. And it was only once in a while. Would you let me babysit your child?
No.
All right. Is Child Protective Services involved in this case?
No.
Because there's a child in the car.
Yeah, it's not my kid. No.
Oh, it said, oh, you're the stepfather? Oh, and by the way, can we live with you because we can't afford to live on our own and we can't afford a daycare? People just out here in the streets having children and expecting other family members to step up and take over their position.
He got into a fight with his baby mama over whether he was cheating and threw a rock through her window. But what really set Judge Boyd off? The fact that he uses his mom as his 24/7 babysitter?
All right, court is calling 2021 CR 8755 State versus Philip Harris. All right, you're charged with the offense of injury to a child, reckless bodily injury. That's a state jail felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. Then to the offense as charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State any evidence? All right, after reviewing state's exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
With permission of the court, yes, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Harris, he actually resides in Lawrenceville, Georgia, which is in Gwinnett County, Georgia.
Mhm.
That's where he before he got picked up on this warrant, Judge, he was gainfully employed with Delta Airlines as a ramp agent. He
Mhm.
believes that job is still available to him, being that he has family members that works there as well, and he believes it's held open for him. He wants to get this particular chapter of his life behind him and moving down the road in a positive manner. He does live with his mother currently, along with his significant other, Demetria, with whom he has a 2-year-old child. And he wants to put that as his main focus after he finishes this, because he wants to make sure that this never happens again.
Explain something to me. Why are adults out here having children and then have to go move back in their mom, in with their mom and their child? I'm sure your mom doesn't want that. Now your mom has to be a parent to a 2-year-old. She shouldn't have to be the parent to because she's the grandmother. So your significant other, and maybe this doesn't have anything to do with the price of peaches, we shall see. Your significant other who's living in your mom's home, does she have employment?
Yes.
So what that means is you're using the grandmother of your child as a babysitter. Does she charge you for that?
No, she does not charge.
See, this is people taking advantage. This is what I always say. When people want to decide to have children, you know what they need to do before they have a child? They need to say, all right, let me sit down and talk with the grandmother. Will you be willing to be more than just a grandmother and be a full-time babysitter and daycare person? Oh, and by the way, can we live with you because we can't afford to live on our own and we can't afford a daycare? People just out here in the streets having children and expecting other family members to step up and take over their position. When if you can't afford a child, honestly, you should be thinking about that before having a child. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then this lady here in this complaint, was your name on that apartment?
No.
Then why do you think you should be there? And then she said, you all got into argument and she just want to leave because you're cheating on her. Were you cheating on her?
No.
Well, she thinks you were. So woman's intuition, and she just want to leave. But before she can even leave, you take off in her car. Was that car in her name or your name?
My name.
All right. So you take off and leave. You come back to an apartment that is not in your name, and you're throwing rocks through a window, like Ernest T. from Andy Griffin. Who does that? You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, there's $1,000 fine. It's going to be probated, affirmative finding of family violence, 4 years deferred adjudication, 100 hours of community service restitution. Is there anything else you need from the court in order to be successful?
No, Your Honor, you showed me everything.
All right, and we can go off the record. Here's the thing. Since your mom is taking care of your child, being a daycare for your child, sometimes she gonna need a break. Sometimes you and your wife, you know what you should get together to do? Let her leave, give her money so she can go to a restaurant and just get away from it all. And then if she has a curfew with people and she don't want people coming in her house at 1 a.m., don't do that. You need to do that at your own house. You understand?
Yes, Your
And
Honor.
don't go to her saying, well, me and my wife need a break from our child, because guess what? She's not getting a break. It's 24/7. So
Yes.
make sure you give her a break and do not have any more children until you're ready to have your own daycare, because people get in a habit and they say, oh, well, let's have another child. Grandmother will take care of her. She wants to enjoy her downtime. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, good
I
luck to you.
appreciate all the, everything you tell me.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
And tell your grandma, tell your mom you love her.
Sure.
All right,
Thank
good luck to you.
Thank you, Judge. May I be excused?
Yes.
Good luck to you.
Busted for drug possession with a child in the car, this dad had a lot to answer for. But when Judge Boyd told him he couldn't be around kids or his girlfriend, his chances of violating parole skyrocketed.
Morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. How's it going?
I'm well. How are you?
Oh, I cannot complain.
You haven't seen the news then.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, no, I understand. All right, court is calling 2024 CR 009804, State versus Julius Tovar. Did you understand you're charged with possession of controlled substance, penalty group 1 to 4 grams? That's a third-degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes.
All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you applied for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, ma'am. We'll waive a pre-sentence investigation and ask the court to follow the plea bargain.
All right. Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Judge, he's 21. He's, I think, on the path to straightening himself out.
Mhm.
We do have a case in County Court 7 we're going to resolve tomorrow, and he'll be on probation, deferred adjudication on that case as well.
All right. Is Child Protective Services involved in this case?
Not that I know of either, Judge.
Why not? Because there's a child in the car.
Yeah, it's not my kid. No,
Oh, it said, oh, you're the stepfather?
yeah.
So do you have any children with this Layla Monique Esquivel?
No.
You don't? All right. How far did you go in school?
12th grade.
Did you graduate?
No, man.
Why not?
I never got to finish.
Why not?
They kicked me out.
Why?
Skipping,
Why were you skipping?
bad crowds.
I mean, you're a part of the bad crowd,
Yeah.
because if you're skipping with other people, you all are skipping together. What's with the tattoo on the arm?
No, I've been having these.
All right, this is what the court is going to do. 5 years deferred adjudication. There should be no contact with Layla Monique. Who do you live with?
Her father-in-law, my father-in-law.
Who is your, wait a minute. Is this Layla Monique Esquivel?
Yeah,
Are you all married?
no,
All right, so that's not your father-in-law then. You understand that?
yes, ma'am.
And does she live there?
No,
That's odd. So why are you staying with, I just get curious sometime.
I've
It
been.
may not have anything to do with the price of peaches, but we're gonna see. So why are you living with her father-in-law?
Well, I've been around the family for a while. Well, she lives with her mom, I live with her dad.
All right. Well, you're not allowed to have any contact. There should be no contact with minors. So if there's minors in that household, you're gonna have to go. Why are you not staying with your parents?
Well, my mom went to California, and my dad, that's the case.
What other, oh, he has another case with his father?
It's in County Court 7.
Oh, so that's an assault case.
Yes, ma'am. There's an
Okay.
assault case.
There should be no contact with minors, regular reporting by Zoom or in person, regular random UAs. When's the last time you used?
5 months ago,
And what were you using?
marijuana,
And what else?
that was it.
And I'm serious about that no contact with Layla Esquivel. You all should not be around each other, and you definitely should not be around anyone who has a child, because you're not grown up yet. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And when I say grown up, you're not thinking about things. All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
A tragic case of meth addiction. He got clean in prison, but on parole, he gave in to temptation, cut off his ankle monitor, and ran from the law. Now he's begging Judge Boyd for mercy, but she's about to drop the hammer.
All right, court is calling 2024 CR 012902 State versus Timothy Zapata. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state? All right, you entered a plea on February 25th to count 1 of guilty. State waived count 2 without objection. According to the plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 12 years. Defense, any witnesses?
Judge, just my client.
All right, could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
So,
All right, you can lower your hand if you'll state your name for the record.
Timothy Andrew Zapata.
All right, defense, you may proceed.
Timothy, would you tell the judge about your issues with drugs?
I've been on drugs for a very long time, since I was a kid. And this time I was granted parole. I think I did pretty good on parole for a little bit. And as you can see, I came out clean a lot of through my whole parole, but at the last couple of months I relapsed.
Okay.
And I started using methamphetamines. And I have a job, I held a job. I tried my best to stay out the way, but human like everybody else. And I have problems and I go through it. And that's the first thing I run to is the drugs.
All right, and I'm sorry for interrupting your questioning, but what drugs? What type?
Methamphetamines.
Okay,
And
and how often were you using?
well, in the beginning, I was only using probably like maybe a gram, maybe a day, but then I started using more for the fact that I had a job, so I could afford to buy it. And right now, the way it looks out there, you could get it anywhere. And everybody gets it there. It's epidemic. It's out there. And it's hard to avoid it. And I got it started getting a little bit depressed because over the years I lost a lot of people during my time incarcerated. And I buried a lot of people in prison. I did. And I came out and I didn't get to tell them bye. So now I know I took the wrong path. If I would have kept my nose clean, I would have been off of here in July of next year. I would have been good. But like I said, I run into problems myself. So I took it upon myself. When I was getting high, I took off on a curfew violation. But I came back home. The next day I went to work, and that's when my parole officer told me I had a warrant for my arrest.
Let me ask you a question. So I'm sure the judge is thinking the same thing. So if you knew you had a drug problem, why didn't you seek help while you were out?
I did in AA, and I tried my best to cooperate, but like I showed up to almost every NA there. I used to go to Guadalupe parole office, and that's what I was used to go do. There's this new thing that's on the phone. I really don't know how to work that new stuff, so it's hard to do the in the rooms. So I couldn't really get help. For the most part, I was just worried about my drug addiction. And I
Why
started-
did this result in you cutting off a monitor?
One day when I went to work, back to work Monday morning, during lunchtime, my PO got a hold of my boss and told me that I had a warrant. That if I wanted to turn myself in, that I would do so by 5 o'clock. But since I've been up days on drugs, I kind of flipped out and just took it upon myself just to run with it. I didn't want to get locked up because I knew I was going to get locked up no matter what. And I figured that I'd just run and see how far I could get because I didn't want to go back to jail. I didn't want to come back to prison.
So you understand that the only options the judge has is the amount of time she sentences you to, right?
Yes, I
So
understand that.
what are you asking the judge to do?
I'm seeing if she would have leniency on the sentence. And I know she's a fair judge, and I know you're an honorable judge, and not give me that length of time that's on the table. That give me the help that I need and send me the programs that I could. I never asked for a program before or asked for help, so it's never been on it's been on my ITP, but I've never been sent to one. So it's like I've been, like if I gotten kicked out of
Okay, so
prison.
let me just tell you something so that you can be aware of this.
Yes.
Your attorney knows this.
Yes,
I've done parole hearings before.
yes,
And actually, I would always tell my clients, being on parole is easier than being on state probation. And I know that parole, they give you a lot of chances. And they give you a lot of chances when you're testing positive for drugs. And they actually have more access to programs than they do in the state courts. So you need to keep it 100 with me. You understand?
yes, I understand, Your Honor. That's what I'm trying to say is that when I was trying my best on parole, I think I did pretty good as far as the end of the month, the end of that time that I got, when I was on drugs, that I ran. And when I took whatever drugs I had on me, I went down the street, 12 blocks down.
Mhm.
I only had the TDC ID on me. Motel said I could rent a place out for 2 days. And I said, I was surprised that those world's dumbest criminals you could put on your file because they let me rent out a room with the TDC ID. And I stayed there and I did my drugs. The next day I left to figure out what was I gonna do, how was I gonna live, or where was I gonna stay at. But when I came back home, I mean, back to the motel, they apprehended me.
All right, this is what the court is going to do. And Mr. Zapata, based upon the convictions that are being read to me, you know, your attorney did an excellent job for you. The court is finding you guilty. The court will ask for the therapeutic community for you, and the court will sentence you to 12 years in the prison. Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it? All right, good luck to you.
Thank you, Judge.
After fleeing the scene of a hit and run, this defendant faced serious prison time. But with a mostly clean record, did he get a second chance?
All right, the court is calling 2024 CR 5275 State versus Christian Chavez.
We are ready, Judge.
You're charged with failure to stop and render aid, causing injury or death. That's one of those hybrid felonies. So your range of punishment is not more than 5 years in the prison or confinement in the county jail for not more than 1 year with a fine not more than $5,000. Did you understand?
Yes.
My understanding, there is no death in this case.
No, Judge, and it's an unusual case that, and Mr. Edelman and I conferred about it. And one of the reasons I was gonna ask the court to waive the PSI, there was an accident. He was actually contacted a couple blocks down the street. The officers performed physical body tests, no indication of alcohol. EMS responded, but he didn't want to be transported. I think they may have had a concussion or something, but he did in fact, I mean, since it's pretty much a strict liability offense for leaving the scene,
Mhm.
it's met its definition, and my client's happy with the deferred. I think Mr. Edelman's made contact with the complainant. There's no restitution issue involved. And there was no indication of alcohol or drug use at all in the accident.
All right, so what is your client's criminal history?
Judge, he's on probation or on deferred for a obstruction of a highway that took place after this offense that expires today.
All right. So the court will sentence you to 6 years deferred adjudication. What do you do for employment?
I'm in sales, I'm a realtor. I work in construction,
We can go off the record. How old are you?
32.
All right, so you know better. Here's the thing. You wouldn't even be in this court right now if you would have just stopped and exchanged information. Accidents happen. Sometimes they happen because people don't know the rules of the road, and sometimes they happen because people are just driving crazy and driving over the speed limit. And I see that both of you were driving over the speed limit. Don't leave scenes of crime. You understand?
I do.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Caught with felony drug possession, this man was the sole caregiver for his young son, leaving Judge Boyd in a tough spot. But when she asked when he last used, his answer changed everything.
Court is calling 2023 CR 0474 State of Texas versus Alfredo Rodriguez. Did you understand you're charged with possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1 to 4 grams? That's a third-degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand? The court has reviewed the same. The court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you applied for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Your Honor, Mr. Rodriguez is trying to be responsible. He has a son that he has custody of and is raising. He has a job lined up. I do not believe he has a drug problem at this time. The TAP evaluation, I think, will reflect that. And so we're asking the court to go along with the agreement and give him a chance on deferred.
How old is your child? And who is your child with now? All right. And is Child Protective Services involved? Were they ever involved? How far did you go in school?
Didn't graduate. I went to 9th grade.
All right. So what do you do?
Waste management.
All right. And when's the last time you used?
Been a month.
1 month? All right. You shouldn't be taking care of your child if you've only been clean for a month.
But it wasn't doing it. It was just something.
All right. So let me ask you this. Let's say that you need somebody to babysit your child and your mom is not available, right?
So,
And let's say you do your due diligence and you come upon my name and somebody says, oh, Stephanie's a great babysitter. She's the Black Mary Poppins, right? Everybody loves her, but you're diligent and you say, you know what? Let me just test her out. Even though all my friends and even though my mom likes her, let me be in the house while she babysits. So you're in the house, everything goes well. Your son loves me. He's like, Dad, please let it be her. And you're like, yeah, she's good. My son really likes her. And as I'm leaving your house, you tell me, Stephanie, you're the perfect choice for this position. And I'm going to want you here on a daily basis to babysit. You understand my fact scenario? Now, let's say I'm being honest. And I said, well, let me just tell you something that didn't pop up. I used to use drugs. The last time I used was a month ago. And even then, it was just meth. And it was only once in a while. Would you let me babysit your child? No, but would you let me babysit your child? So there you go. All right. So this is what the court is going to do. 4 years deferred adjudication. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. There's going to be regular random UAs. In custody, I'm going to want a TAP evaluation and a referral to felony drug court. Felony drug court will be able to see you probably today or tomorrow. Be honest with them. All right. Because you're trying to be a good parent to your son and you can't be if you're using drugs once in a while. The remaining 100 hours will be deducted upon completion of a GED or trade school. If you decide, you know what, I don't want to do any of that, then what's going to end up happening is the government is going to make you pick trash up on the highway or somewhere else. And you know, in San Antonio, it gets to be 100 degrees and with the humidity, feels like 110. So it's completely up to you if you want to use this to better yourself or not. You understand?
Thank you.
There's going to be field visits 1 time per month until further notice, and there's to be no unsupervised contact with minors. So that no unsupervised contacts with minors, that includes your child. So that means your mom needs to supervise. If you get to the point where I think it's appropriate for you to have unsupervised visits, then we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So did your mom adopt him?
No, we're actually, I was actually in the process of giving custody to my mom.
Okay, well, you probably need to do that. All right, we can go off the record. To be successful in this court, communication is key. If there's an issue, let your probation officer know. If you feel as though you may end up using, let your probation officer know. Your attorney will tell you that if there is a drug issue, then, you know, try to get help for it. I don't normally revoke people if they're calling probation saying, hey, I'm going to use. And probation on his case,
Yes,
could you add 60 sober meetings in 60 days, please?
ma'am.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.